Welcome to the TrueMindShifters channel. In this channel, we share true stories from our own lives around challenges related to fear, shame, and guilt, and what we've done to overcome or navigate through these challenges. Our aim is to really support people both personally and professionally, as we are really the same people regardless of where we go, whether we're in a building or in a house. If you like this topic, please like, subscribe, and share with others. This month, Marina and I are talking to Oren and Bela. And as you might imagine, our conversations as true mind shifters go in a lot of different directions. And in this particular conversation, Oren, Bela, Marina, and I are exploring the concept of love versus how do we live and create the best life ever for not just ourselves, but other people too. So we're going to jump into the river, almost like if this were a dock and there was a river. We're jumping off the dock into a great conversation with Oren and Bela.
If people would just say that, I don't want to hurt others, we'll be in a world peace instantly. That you don't have to proclaim, I love something or someone. You just don't hurt others. Then, isn't it true?
No.
Can we agree on that?
We won't have murderers. We won't have. We don't have evil, basically.
When I talk about love, the level of love that I'm talking about is more in alignment with Bela's use of the word light or universal love. Because that to me is what, when I talk about love, I'm not talking about a confined, conditional labeling, you must fit this category in order for me to love, right? I'm talking about the type of love that Bela is referring to. And so I would very much, or I believe very much that if more people had in them that energy, that light, because saying not to do something is an action, but what is it that you are? How would you, Oren or Bela, describe what a person is or what they are doing when they hold a philosophy and belief that to not harm?
I can start. So for me, first of all, it's very important for that person to identify himself as a part of whatever is happening in the world. A lot of people today trying to disengage, saying, okay, what's happening over there, it's not my problem. I have my little trip to Europe that I'm enjoying. I don't care what's happening in other countries, and trying to disengage. Also, a lot of times, in order to be able to spread that light, people needs to be in a way involved, as Oren said, and sometimes maybe know what's going on, but not get sucked into the center of the negativity that's going on here. And ability to recognize it and ability to be grounded, to be in harmony with himself, then that person can spread the light around themselves, and other people that communicated with that person also starting to change their behavior. That's how it's ripple effect working. But in order to do that, people first need to acknowledge where they are in relationship of what's happening today.
When we talk about the do not harm, it actually has two connotations. It can be passive, it can be active. So in a passive way, do not harm means I'm not gonna push that button, which will hurt others, or trigger, which will hurt others. But in an active way, I'll do what I can to prevent others to push that button or to save others from the harm. And here we go back to the police officers or firefighters, right? They don't do it because they love others. They are actively engaging this in activity of preventing from other people from getting hurt. So disengaging, it's really important because you can judge what's going on. Who is actually a bad guy? Sometimes you don't even know who's a bad guy in some situation. So what's Bela said, you have to disengage from a situation and look at this from the side. So being grounded through. Then at the end of the day, you have to choose what side you are on. Kind of convoluted, right?
No,
I went in the
it
higher
makes a lot of
energy. Like,
sense. Makes a lot of sense. What I was personally actually sitting here thinking about at this particular moment was, what is that message that you can share with our viewers, with us, so we can start understanding, moving in the right direction based on what is happening right now?
Ground yourself, number one. Do not engage.
How?
There is a techniques Oren teaching them on his classes how to do grounding.
oh, you can find it on
Oh,
the
you can
internet.
find it, yeah. Second, meditate, because when our mind is empty, we are more receptive and we can hear our inner voice. And a lot of times our head is filled with other people emotions, other people, whatever going on in the world. Our analyzer in our head is working usually over time, and CPU is going off balance. But those two things, being grounded and meditating, be able to be in harmony with yourself, will help you to recognize and maybe sometimes make a quick decisions that can save your life.
Getting wider on what Bela said, just little kind of side note or background to this message. We are society always under constant injection of BS. We are fed misinformation, disinformation, uninformation, and whatnot. So I would say that to recognize that whatever is fed to you is most probably not true. Most probably, because there are interests of all directions and all groups which wants you to join the cult. And I call it cult. Political party is a cult because they don't believe in dissent. If you're not believing what our boss believes, go find yourself in another party, right? Is it not? Religious the same. All fanatics is the same. All these sub-religions or beliefs in I don't know what, they all cults. They all share that foundation. Otherwise, they feel alone. So people tend to join one cult or another. So from our perspective of survival is recognize that you actually probably getting sucked into next cult in line because you just ran from another one, or you part of an cult, or you believe, because your set of beliefs, you're not on Mars and you're not alone or in Moon or somewhere else. So your beliefs most likely shared by other people, or actually you shared beliefs. So of other people. So recognition of that was probably you fed a bunch of goods in a certain cult won't set you free, but at least will give you opportunity to read what's around you in a true light, not the what your current leader wants you to believe as a part of the cult. And that will give you grounded, will give you the opportunity to actually be yourself. Because if your current leader says, oh, we're going to die tomorrow, and you believe that leader, so what's going to happen? You're going to believe that you're going to die tomorrow. Or, oh, we're going to kill this cult, and we'll be happy after we done with them. And people go to war, and they always did. And they always do right now too. So be yourself and understand that there is an energy around you, but it's your choice to accept it. as a truth, because there is one truth, and there are many, many, many different beliefs out there, and they're not the truth. Belief is not the truth. So training yourself to distance yourself from all this information out there and trying to make understanding and see how is it information is fed to you. That's extremely hard. But that's the only way for you to stay yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be just sucked in next movement, next beliefs. And this is where you lose your individuality, because now you're part of bigger machine, bigger group. There is a word that out there says egregore, right? The energy which shared between like-minded people. You are just part of the mechanism. Once you join the next group, so stay yourself and believe in yourself and try not to join a cult. That's what it is.
Is that even possible in a society?
Probably not, because otherwise you won't be in society. But you can be in like-minded people, but still be yourself. If you can be reasonable, if you understand, if you respect yourself, not love yourself, respect yourself.
Hmm. Well, and the truth is, like what you talked about, I love how you described political parties and even religions. You join it or you're divided. And so it's a system that immediately creates division.
Because they want you to stay in their group. So
Right.
everything
Division.
outside that group is bad. So stay with us because we are true believers. And
Right.
if believers means
Right.
anything, political party or religious or whatever, doesn't really matter.
Right. And
Vegans,
so
same thing. It's a cult. I'm sorry for vegans, but it is. They believe in certain things.
yes.
Same as meat eaters.
And it's interesting because, and Marina, we've talked about this before, how because in my family, there isn't just one religion that's been followed. My family is very fractured and very multiracial, multicultural. And so I live at the intersection of many, many cults, identities. Okay. And I'm like, where's the one religion that doesn't talk badly about the other religions?
Good luck finding it.
How do I choose a religion that makes me not have to alienate my mom or my stepmom or my dad? They
Maybe you
were
need to
all
be
different religions, or
maybe
my
you need to be
sister.
libertarian.
But the truth is the system sets you up to be divided. And it has been since the beginning of this country, frankly, at least in the United
Into
States.
humanity.
Yes. So isn't it interesting? So why do we set things up to divide? And I would argue that it is because we are afraid.
Yes, of being alone. I need confirmation that I'm good from my leader, from my core members, because I'm great, from my wife, from my neighbor, and your house is worse than
From
mine.
your family, from your kids, from your parents,
This is a cycle.
from your boss, from your co-workers.
But what makes enlightened people different is that they can see that, because majority of people don't. They take it as a face value and they believe in this. Enlightened person can kind of say, oh, wait a second, there is something going on here. I mean, where's my
Yeah, because,
personality? I just lost it.
right. Because I want to subscribe to things that unify. But when in the course of my attempt to unify, the rhetoric becomes, but you have to not like this group. And we're going to call this group out by these specific degrading, marginalizing, evil names. right? We're gonna label and stick stickers on all of these other people that aren't like us. That's hate. In my
Yeah.
mind, that's
Yeah.
hate.
Yeah.
And so
Because
I
my group is
struggle.
better than yours.
Right. And if you don't believe this, you're dumb, you're this, you're that naive, you're da 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 on and on and on the labels, right? And both sides, right? But it's this very interesting, like why as human beings do we not see that we have created a system that inherently creates division? And why are we not more interested in figuring out how to band together to figure life out?
You don't need to band together. See, but you don't need to band together. I mean, then you create another cult which says, oh, this is a cult of all individuals. That's the thing. You
So
can
what's
be
the
inside the
answer?
group, but think for yourself. Can you?
So what's the answer then? So can we then, that doesn't sound like we'll ever have peace.
If we as a human being are able to find this good and stick with it, and the good is more than bad, then basically all the wars will disappear. And we are, as spiritual people, trying to find the good, even in a bad situation, trying to find good thing and learn lessons from that. It's already ability to move forward.
Should I say what you think is leave and let leave?
What do you mean by let leave?
Others, they have their own stuff.
They have their own journey. Every person have their own journey.
I have mine, you have yours, and we're happy.
Correct. But
Bella, would you say,
the,
Bella, I'm sorry, would you say it again? It's so deep what you're saying. I need to hear it a second time.
so we are living in duality, good and bad. So ability for a spiritual person try to find good even in a bad situation and be able to grow, then the more goodness will be in the world.
But we need to see out of this situation. It's not being delusional. It's not avoiding the reality. It's, however, exactly what Bella so eloquently just created in really one sentence.
Now, the only thing we need to find out is what is good and what is bad.
I was gonna ask that.
Great minds think alike, yeah.
Because it's like, okay, it's good for me, but isn't that good enough for everyone else?
You, right?
But
Like,
then
it's
we're
so
back to
good
the
for
same
me.
sentence
Do
which I
not
said in
do
the
harm.
beginning. Do not harm.
I was going to say that. And then we're going to
evolving today,
Oren,
that
who
is
says,
amazing.
don't harm.
Do no harm. So what is good? I mean, good is you leave me alone, maybe. Just maybe help me. But you're not hurting me, then you're a good person, aren't you? Because I'm not hurt. You are not trying to hurt me.
We live in a society and we can disengage and not be able to communicate with other people.
Absolutely.
Those
Quickly down the road.
Those policemen, where if they leave me alone, they wouldn't go and save the other people.
But there is a third party here which trying to hurt others. So if policemen won't engage, the bad person will hurt the good person. So the policeman injects himself.
So because of his
between.
duty of work, that's why he.
So he protects the good in society. That I don't know if I can say that, but in this case, the bad person is stopped or is not able to hurt others. So basically, you don't look.
I'm not trying to throw a wrench here. I'm not trying to throw a wrench here, but let's remember a very recent situation where, and not so recent, I can think of hundreds of situations where policemen had to execute their duties against good people.
I, even for a second, is not going to argue with you. But it doesn't mean the idea of policing is bad, because there are always bad actors.
So
Because technically, if we extrapolate, if you go down the same road, we can say that every soldier in the army is bad because 1 out of 1,000 killed someone during war, right? No?
It's I don't want to say it's a rabbit hole,
Yeah,
but it's
it
a
is.
very long conversation,
Right.
which we
Not
may want
this
to address
one.
differently, because the whole definition of what's good and what's bad has been in existence as long as this world has been in existence.
Yes, and every cult has its own definition of good. Me, good, you, bad. That's it. That's all,
Mhm.
right? Any group of people always says whatever they doing is good, and everyone else either won't understand them or don't understand them, don't want to understand them, or just pure and simple bad people.
We weaponize differences. We weaponize differences.
Absolutely agree. Yes.
And that
yes.
is a form of harm. So looking at yourself, going back to what Bella was talking about, and again, I want people to understand. So there's the awareness that you're talking about, Oren, that we live in this very complex world with lots of differences. And how do we create a better world? How do we help the world be a better place? We start with ourselves. So I'm sort of trying to do a good recap. So we start with ourselves, we ground ourselves, and we meditate. But in it, and we do not harm. And harm includes the labels we use against other people who are different from us.
Not only labels,
Maybe not different. I mean, different in
judgment,
what way?
you call it whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Any type of judgment, any type
People
of
are not different. We are the same. Two legs,
exact.
2 hands.
So
one
then,
hand.
okay, so if I'm not harming, okay, because I'm wanting to go to that's about me. I can meditate. I can like self-love, right? I love myself. I'm so good. But I go and I label all these other people.
Then it's not good.
It's not love.
That means that you're hurting people.
It's
Let
not
me-
love.
So a baby step for all of us to make the world a better place is to stop labeling each other. Is that true? Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
Yes.
Not only that, I mean,
But
stop
in order
acting
to
on
do
differences.
that, you have to recognize that you are doing something wrong. And in order to recognize that you're doing something wrong, you have to be grounded and meditate.
You need to first love and accept yourself the way you are, to allow yourself to stop and start grounding yourself for your own benefit and benefit others around you, which is no.
Absolutely agree. Yes. Yes.
Wow, looks like we exhausted the topic.
No, this is amazing, and I'm thinking about this in a different way. It's because again, the intention here is to create change. There's our intention is to create and share goodness, to help others self-reflect, to help each other, to help others learn, and to expand a voice of light of helping people create more goodness in their lives and in society. I mean that is what we are intending to do.
This is why
And
even I joined, to create true positive change the way
yes.
we can.
And change always starts with you, first of all.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
And that's why we will tell the stories about ourselves and tell and share as an example, not that it has to be like us, but that when how can you how do you arrive at something unless you have something else help you see it, right? Or to know things aren't always taught in a way to help people self-reflect even. Like who's taught to self-reflect? I watched my husband who's 60 years old self-reflect for the first time less than a year ago.
I did it a year ago, a little bit more. I didn't even understand what it was. I had to learn. It was a process. I'm like, what do you mean? How do you do? A year and a half ago, literally,
this is the
I had
problem
to
now.
follow the checklist. I
But that's the
kid you
problem
not.
with humanity.
Huh?
That's the problem with humanity. We don't realize, all of us, most of us, that we need to change. We
Mhm,
find and
mhm,
we suffer, but
mhm.
we find and we suffer because of him, her, them, it, whatever. So that's
Self-responsibility. You're right.
so that's a problem. So the first step is to realize that you need to change, because if you try to just stop anyone on the street, say, oh, you know what, you need to change. You know what he gonna tell you?
Go change
Probably
yourself.
go change yourself.
Exactly. I
Yes.
believe the first step, and I agree with you, is to realize that you need to change, you want to change. And the second step is to be able to find support. Our channel is to provide support to like-minded people who understand already that they want to change and who need support. We all need support. All of us. It's crucial, especially on in this process. And the topic we're talking about, we need to support each other in this critical time for the whole world. And by doing that, we are together creating that positive change, that positive energy that does make a difference. I truly believe in that. It has been yet another great discussion. And you know what? I actually love that we have different points of view. I love that we have passion. I love that we don't see things the same. We see them differently, and we ended up actually talking about the same thing, which is exactly what makes it such a unique and powerful story. We're showing together that we can be completely different, having cultural, ethnic, family, and whatever, right? Educational differences. We can have all the differences you can think of. Yet we and have different points of view, yet we come together. We are an example of what what we need to do with the world to come together, to break the division, and to create positive impact.
Yep. Totally agree.
That was an incredible conversation, and we were able to show a lot of different people exactly what's happening in the world. So much different perspectives, so many different points of views. What I think is different, which we hope that everyone can benefit from, is an opportunity to show people that even if you have different points of view, different backgrounds, different perception at the same thing, we're able to find common ground. We're able to find similarities. We're able to align to each other and find opportunity to support each other.
This has been a very powerful conversation, very deep and meaningful and profound. I'm grateful for both Bella and Oren and Marina as well to continue to look at life in a way that helps us honor our existence, honor how we can live with each other and not do harm. And we look forward to more stories with our healers and together. And in the meantime, we send you support, empowerment, and love.